Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial. Go to audibletrial.com/Rushmore. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Hello and welcome to Mount Rushmore. My name is Jeff, and as always, I'm stuck in a room, shackled to Richard.
Hello.
And Michael.
Howdy.
And Richard and Michael, they like to debate the top four of any given topic, the Mount Rushmore, if you will. And this week is no different, in which they are going to debate a topic that I chose, and that is the Mount Rushmore of ad campaign villains. And I'd like to quickly tie into the last subject that we had, the Mount Rushmore of Simpsons periphery.
And now to deliver a special sermon on the sanctity of deliciousness, the Noid.
That was the Simpsons referring to the Noid, which was the first ad campaign villain that I recall stopping and looking at the TV and going, why? Why? Why do we have to create a bad guy in this world of heroes? Why must there be villains? And for many years, the idea of a product having an aspect of it that was undesirable has been the cornerstone of advertising. And for many years, advertisers have created iconic figures to illustrate those negative aspects of certain products. So we're going to talk about it. I didn't really get an eye roll from Michael or Richard when I came up with this. And in fact, they jumped in feet first to kind of discuss what these things were going to be. So Richard went first our last episode. So Michael, you go first this time.
Via feet first, I meant to try and drop kick you.
Okay.
I wanted to include man's inhumanity towards man, but I figured we've had enough of that. But instead, we're going to talk about cereal, and we're going to talk about the most devious cereal villain of all time, Barney Rubble.
You watch me get Fred's Fruity Pebbles.
Who are you?
I'm the master rapper, and I'm here to sing. I love Fruity Pebbles in a major way.
He loves Fruity Pebbles in a major way.
The bedrock yellow, orange, purple, lime, and red. But to get the fruity taste, I gotta trick Fred. Fruity.
To get the fruity taste, he's got to trick Fred. Barney.
Guess that's a wrap.
Most Fruity Pebbles cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast. Yabba-dabba delicious.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
He's a bad man. Barney bad man. Fred Flintstone may be stupid and super gullible and falls for all of Barney's tricks. But Barney just keeps... Okay. Let me back up a second. Maybe Barney is... Fuck, hold on.
You're so mad about this that you can't even
I got worked up.
talk.
Barney Rubble. Super underrated in terms of being a villain in the world at large. The amount of machinations that he goes through in his trickery, in the machines that he builds, to steal Fred's Fruity Pebbles is quite something to behold.
It also seems out of character. Isn't Barney not the wise, intelligent person?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. All right.
A ruse. What I like about the majority of all of the Fruity Pebbles, probably Cocoa Pebbles too, I would assume, is that Fred never wins.
Yeah.
He always has his Pebbles stolen. He never gets it back.
Barney, my pebbles!
Classic Fred Flintstone impression.
Am I adding to my growing list of...
It sounds like he's passing a kidney stone.
There was only one commercial where there is any sort of victory from Fred, and it takes Santa Claus to come down. I'm glad that like the cavemen, Santa Claus existed for them as well, and basically admonished Barney for stealing his pebbles and not sharing them with Fred. I think that's how it originally started, is Fred wouldn't share his Fruity Pebbles with Barney. So Barney was like, F this.
Yeah.
I'm going to get this guy back that has been, beating me up for my entire childhood, I assume. But, he's a bad man.
Yeah, he's frequently very violent towards Fred and his schemes. It's not just like simple tricks. I mean, he's putting Fred's life in danger, sometimes his family's life in danger. All for some not very great cereal.
I think maybe that's the cherry on top, is that who wants that crappy cereal? Pick up your game.
Okay, Michael, thank you. Richard, what's your first?
I'll also stay in the world of cereal. And I'm going with the kids in the Trix cereal commercials,
Oh, cool.
who will not let that rabbit eat his goddamn cereal.
Yeah.
Hey, Rabbit, want some Trix?
Huh?
You know part of your nutrition breakfast.
What's the gag?
I believe all your favorite flavors are here. Orange,
Orange.
lemon.
Lemony lemon. Grapey grape, too. Is this trick a rabbit wink?
Here, enjoy.
I'm finally getting Trix.
Wake up, Rabbit. Silly Rabbit. Tricks are for kids.
A rude awakening.
Why?
Well, the tricks are for kids.
But why?
Well, not for rabbits.
Well, why not?
Well, that's...
Well,
yeah, I don't know.
How hard would it be just to let the damn rabbit have the cereal and then he'd stop bugging you, and then everybody wins?
Maybe there is a subconscious effort on behalf of the people that create Trix cereal. And it's like, don't give this human food to animals. Maybe there are enough
Like a
kids.
safety thing or something.
Yeah, maybe there are enough kids trying to give cereal to their cats and dogs, and I guess I assume they're mischievous pet rabbits.
Right. Well, obviously, to be fair, the rabbit is obviously having a lot of sugar, so maybe he doesn't need Trix anymore.
A lot of psycho mascots.
If you look at the
There
rabbit,
are.
you can see like an insulin pack on the side where he's
Oh,
getting
yeah?
injections.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think maybe he has some kind of diabetes or something like that.
Could be.
The beatus.
The
Beatus.
I think these commercials really show more than anything else just what dicks kids can be.
Yeah.
It's just there's no reason to not let him have the Trix.
Yeah.
They're just doing this to be mean. This is
Okay.
animal cruelty.
Are
Is
the-
what this is.
Are these the same kids that are trying to steal Lucky Charms? Do you think that
maybe
from Central Evil Kid casting that they're just
Yeah.
crossing over to a different cereal brand and just
Look, I assume most kids in cereal commercials are assholes.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be the only one that had hoped Andre the Giant would actually crush those honeycomb crisp kids.
Was he really in a honeycomb?
Yeah, he
Oh.
punches his hand through the and he breaks in and they freak out. It just turns out he just wants
I'm
Yeah.
Cereal.
going to steal. That's a terrible. That's as
that's as bad as
your
my
friend-
Fred Flintstone.
Okay.
It morphed into a crappy Schwarzenegger impression.
Yeah. It's good. I liked it.
Yeah, no, it's I look. Don't be assholes, kids. Kids who are listening, if you're in a cereal commercial, just chill out, man.
A rabbit has like a 5-year
Chill out.
lifespan.
Yeah, they did. There was one cartoon where they let him win.
Oh.
They had some sort of vote,
Uh-huh.
and so they left it up to kids, and actual kids want the rabbit to have cereal,
Yeah.
but evil goddamn cereal cartoon or cereal commercial kids, no way.
No way. Okay, Michael, what's your second?
My second one is Mayhem from the Allstate
Oh, very good.
insurance commercials.
I'm a teenage girl. My BFF Becky texts and says she's kissed Johnny. Well, that's a problem because I like Johnny. Now I'm emotionally compromised and whoopsies. I'm all OMG. Becky's not even hot. And if you've got cut rate insurance, you could be paying for this yourself. So get Allstate. You can save money and be better protected from mayhem like me.
Played by actor Dean Winters. There have been, it feels like, dozens of these since it first started airing in 2010, where he is kind of an anthropomorphic version of whatever horrible thing can befall you outside of the norms.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he plays a teenage girl texting. Sometimes he plays a careless cleaning lady inside the house, just like slipping on your carpet.
Yeah.
Sometimes he plays dryer lint. I just love that they've been able to cast this one guy as like just a force of destruction.
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily represent one thing, just like this outside malevolent force that if you have cut rate insurance,
You're screwed.
you're screwed. You need the best insurance because of all the stuff. It can be a Christmas tree. You can be the world's most beautiful Douglas fir, as he says in one in one commercial.
There's a lot of sports ones, if I remember. There are a lot of tailgating and somebody's
Flag falls off.
yeah.
It's amazing. It really puts you under a state of fear. And maybe a lot of these villains in commercials are built on that. The idea of creating some sort of fear.
Yeah.
And you just watch a series of these in a row and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Something can happen anywhere. And I need all of the insurance. I need Christmas tree insurance. Which one is that?
Yeah.
That's on someone else's car, and it's going to fall off, and you don't know what's happening next.
Does feel like
somebody's going to be tailgating, and someone's going to hit the football into the grill, and then the grill's going to get coals in your car, and then the car's going to catch fire.
Okay, Richard, what's your second?
Yeah.
Okay, so my second one is the Hamburglar.
Oh, Rubble.
Rubble.
Also on my list.
Okay, good.
Why, it's that crafty old Hamburglar stealing all those delicious McDonald's hamburgers.
Said Ronald. What do we do?
Well, not even a crafty old Hamburglar can pass up a McDonald's chocolate shake.
Said Ronald. And sure enough, the crafty old Hamburglar went for it. But then...
originally called the Lone Jogger in the 70s. And he would basically sort of look like he did now, but he had like more of a pointy face. Almost like a spy versus spy kind of pointy face. And he had a shirt on that said Lone Jogger. And then he would steal people's food.
Wait, you're serious?
I'm dead serious about this.
Okay.
I don't know why. And they never really explained what the Lone Jogger thing was all about, other than it was like the 70s and everyone was jogging and eating McDonald's and dropping dead from heart attacks. I don't know. And then in the 80s, they brought him back as
a lovable
lovable redheaded scamp who just loves stealing food, which I don't know what was going on in the Hamburglar house. He's like some sort of like poor, is like a poor kid, couldn't afford McDonald's.
Wait a second, has that single tooth. Diddly-diddly-doo. He looks like Alfred E. Newman's twin. But with the reverse of teeth. He's only got one tooth right in the middle where Alfred E. Newman's missing teeth.
Right.
He looks exactly the same. Red-haired, a scamp. I want to know what's going on with the criminal justice system in McDonald's land.
McDonald's land's got some weird shit going on, guys.
I will admit that this was the cornerstone of about 5 solid minutes of my stand-up comedy act at one point.
Oh, was it? You had a tight 5 minutes on the Hamburglar.
The Hamburglar, like McDonald land's already a fucked up place, but like the Hamburglar, he wears a prison clothing, a Zorro hat and mask, and a tie.
Right.
And like, why does he wear the mask? To protect his criminal identity? Maybe take off the prison clothing. And the
like the Fry Guys are obviously a criminal crime.
Yeah,
they're like a crime
syndicate.
Yeah.
I just think
they
like,
team up with a Happy Meal gang.
Yeah, but everything like the Hamburglar steals hamburgers ostensibly to eat, but the cop and the mayor of McDonald Land are hamburger people. Like eat
Do you
those.
think he ever just eats?
Just eat those fuckers. You could run the whole town.
I was looking some stuff up. Like I was looking. You know you're in trouble when you're researching the Hamburglar.
Yeah.
Someone has edited like the McDonald's wiki about the Hamburglar and has this quote. One time the Hamburglar cheese burglarized Mayor McCheese's head and ate it while staring him in the eyes while they could still look. The rest of Mayor McCheese's body was ground up, turned into burgers, and eaten by Ronald McDonald.
Yeah.
And by that annoying cop, Officer Big Mac, who got murdered and eaten right after. Captain Crook was pleased. He had the McDonald Land theft market cornered.
That's hilarious.
They haven't.
McDonald's hasn't gone into fixes.
Well, I don't know if it's an official McDonald's.
Oh.
Like but all the other pages are like
Brand.
normal.
Yeah.
And then this one,
except for this one, which is just off the rails.
They are probably so happy that even happened. Like, oh, cool. Hey, we're cool now, you guys.
well, they tried to relaunch the Hamburglar.
Oh sure, hipster Hamburglar.
Sexy dad. Yeah, it was like sexy stubbly dad.
Really?
Hamburglar, like hipstery and tight pants.
Oh wow.
He's the guy.
It failed.
He's the guy that like the new Hot Wendy
Yeah.
like went out with just to piss off her dad.
Oh, that's funny.
And they and it's like McDonald's keeps trying to like make itself like hip and cool and like rebrand itself, and it never works. You know why? Because you're fucking McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know what I want from McDonald's? I want lousy food
Yeah.
that I expect.
Yeah.
That tastes the same way as the lousy food I've had there for 40 years, and they just don't louse that up.
Yeah.
And you're fine.
Yeah. Well, since we're on this in this category, I will relay what would have been my choice, and really quickly because he exists also in the McDonald Land ecosystem. But until I discovered, I remember as a child distinctly remember 2 things about Grimace. He had 4 arms, not 2, and he debuted as a villain, not as a nice resident of McDonald Land.
Ronald and his friends spotted evil Grimace running off with loads of shakes and
I'm thirsty.
Thinking quickly, Ronald disguised himself as a big Hollywood movie director.
I'm really thirsty.
Took a shortcut and headed off to Grimace at Filet-O-Fish Lake.
Wait!
Shouted Ronald.
What a face! What beautiful eyes! I'm gonna make you a star.
The evil
And we're back. And you couldn't see in that clip that Grimace had 4 arms, so he must have been in some kind of factory accident, or he conformed to the 2-arm normative identity of McDonald
Do you
land.
think he was like a real human who'd like got dropped in like a vat of the...
Well, that's what the Joker,
like
and he's grimacing now. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like got dropped in a vat of like the chicken nugget, like pink sludge.
It had
and he
to
came
be,
back out all deformed and blobby.
Well, what you don't know about Grimace now, and he's actually Grimace 04.
Oh,
the original Grimace was like this experiment that got out. It was evil, had 4 arms.
Oh, wow.
So it was like the prototype evil Grimace before they corrected all of like the genetics behind the real Grimace. And and now it's just genetically modified to be like this big dope.
Like X23 or like, okay. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial. Go to audibletrial.com/Rushmore. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Hey guys, we are at halftime. Go to our iTunes page, and then go to our Facebook page, and our Twitter page, and our Instagram page, and please like and love us. And we're back. And Richard.
So my third choice is the Cavity Creeps.
All
from
right.
Crest.
Day after day, Toothopolis stands behind its beautiful wall of teeth, ever vulnerable to the Cavity Creeps.
We climb to make holes.
The Cavity Creeps. I'll call the Crest team.
The siren! The Cavity Creeps must be near our beloved wall of teeth.
Yes, at the upper back molar. Hurry into the Crest-mobile.
Hurry, Crest! Protect us!
Popular in
Good spot for big hole.
Popular in the late 70s through the 80s. Cartoon characters that would fight the Crest Kids.
Yeah.
They would also oogle women in like that, just that way that you just don't. It's just like not cool.
Yeah.
And so the Crest Kids were like these like I don't know, they're supposed to be like
Crest. That was the call.
Yeah, they're supposed to be like some sort of Justice League,
yeah.
like one of the kids sort of things. And their job was to protect giant teeth. I don't know where they lived. That the whole like physics of it gets a little weird. I don't know if they're like little tiny people or the
are
teeth
they microscopic
or giant. I don't know. But they would use crests to protect teeth. Mm-hmm. And the Cavity Creeps were like these spawny Todd McFarlane looking like really frightening kind of things.
Yeah.
And they would just, we make holes in teeth.
Yeah.
We make holes in teeth. And they would show up with like drills and picks and all manner of forms of destruction to try and just, their whole role in life was just to fuck up teeth.
And they were, I feel like the Mucinex characters are kind of the offspring of Cavity Creeps, these blobby, unattractive things.
Right. I think so. I think that, but the Mucinex ones, they tried to use humor. These were not humorous.
No,
They were meant to be like, frighten the shit out of you as a kid.
Yeah.
So that you brushed your teeth. Because you did not want those things running around in your mouth.
Yeah.
Awful. Someone online I saw called it I think this is right. They kind of look like this bizarro mix of Attack on Titan and the Magic School Bus.
Oh, okay.
Like if you had a cartoon that kind of married those two, it would look like the Crest Kids commercials were the Cavity Creeps.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're the only bad guys that have a Murphy's Law punk rock song about them.
Oh, really?
There's actually a song called Cavity Creeps, and pretty much all of the lyrics are just "We make holes in teeth."
Oh, that's awesome.
But I have them on there, partially because so many of these characters are kind of these bumbling ne'er-do-wells, where they're not really bad. They're just they have something that they want.
Yeah.
Whether it's Barney wanting the Cocoa Pebbles, or it's the Hamburglar wanting a hamburger.
Yeah.
These guys are they're just Cavity Creeps.
Out for destruction.
They're just out for destruction. They are comic book bad guys brought to tooth-sized form.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, do you remember this, Jeff? Did they have were they working for somebody else? Were they like orcs who were sent out by some sort of like
minions?
Yeah, or were they just mindless and they did it themselves? It feels like they should have been like minions or something.
This feels like a plot that Mum-Ra was behind somehow.
I feel like we can relaunch this. I feel like there's a movie.
I would
to be
love
made
to do
out
a
of
serious
this.
Christopher Nolan kind of reboot of this thing where we have a backstory for each of the team.
Yeah,
and definitely. If you can do Transformers, you can do this. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, Michael.
My final pick is the bully from the Charles Atlas bodybuilding ads.
Wow, that's a pretty
good
cool
one.
these were ads that used to run in comic books in the 50s and 60s and even up until the 80s. I remember seeing them in comic books growing up, where the setup was usually always the same. There would be like a scrawny guy on the beach with his date, and then some lughead, muscle-bound goon would either purposefully kick dirt in their face or would accidentally bump, his date's elbow. The pipsqueak man would turn tail and run and be like, let's get out of here. I can't do it. She would be incensed, call him names, really berate him and be offended. And, of course, he needed to turn somewhere, and he turned to the Charles Atlas School of Bodybuilding. And for like a stamp or for a couple dollars, you could get a book. And then, later, they never quite gave you a time frame. It just said later.
Later, yeah.
Show back up at the beach, put on some muscle.
Yeah.
And then a good lesson for all children to combat violence is to combat it with more violence.
Yeah.
And get your revenge by being muscly and huge and angry. What a great set of ads.
Well, it was in a comic book, but that's not the plot of Batman. I mean, that's not the plot of a lot of comic books.
So you're saying Charles Atlas's parents died at a young age? And...
Well, there is a lot of personal transformation in comic books and things, but they're usually fighting for truth, justice, in the American way, not just
trying to get
sand in your face. I remember the catchphrase turned Mac into a man. And then I remember also reading Charles Atlas' principles were something like dynamic tension, which I think is when the way you could build your body to Charles Atlas was to take one hand, clasp the other hand, and pull real hard against them, and then you'll have muscles.
Makes sense.
Yeah, there's a list of these I'm looking at on Wikipedia right now. There's how Jack the Weakling slaughtered the dance floor hog.
Yeah.
That's frightening. Hey, Skinny, your ribs are showing. I'd love to have written these. I was born in the wrong era. Just writing the headlines for these would have been, I could have died a happy man.
I mean, you talk about like Batman type fantasies of like, there was one where like there was like a crook or a robber that had robbed a bank and was trying to get away, and very rightfully so, the weak man in general was like, let's get out of here, honey. Yeah. And she's like, why didn't you stop that man with a gun? Comes back later. There happens to be another bank robbery. Kerpow. Just knocks the guy out. Just like punches the guy. It's like, don't do this, kids. No, avoid this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to see the version of this where the guy gets all muscly, comes up to the bully, and the bully still kicks his ass. Because the bully is like an MMA fighter or something.
Master in Taekwondo. Yeah.
I've been practicing that for years. Okay,
you've been buff for like 5 days. Yeah, it's like not knowing how to like control like this powerful like beast that you've got no control over.
Or he comes up to confront the bully, and the bully defeats him, and he goes, "Yeah, because I'm Charles Atlas. You didn't know that this whole time."
The ads that I remember most from comics growing up were either these ones or they were for like X-ray specs.
Yeah.
And so like either way,
they're promises of sex and
so creepy.
I promise your access or visibility of boobies if you become strong. The last one, Richard.
That would be me. The last one is the Frito Bandito.
Hello, boys and girls. It's me, the Frito Bandito. You know what I heard about you? I heard you want to be a Frito Bandito like me. You do? Then you must sing the Bandito song. Let's sing together. You just follow the bouncing Fritos corn chips bag. Ay, 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 ay.
Animated by Tex Avery.
Is that right?
Voiced by Mel Blanc.
Oh, wow.
And just as racist as Speedy Gonzales.
The trifecta.
So for those of you kids out there who don't remember back in the 60s, like I don't because I wasn't born in the 60s, but the Frito Bandito was a cartoon that would interact with actual people. And basically he wanted to steal all of the Fritos. And he talked like Speedy Gonzales. So he kind of talked like the slow guy on the Speedy Gonzales cartoons. I want to steal all of your Fritos.
Slowpoke Rodriguez.
Yeah, he sounded like Slowpoke Rodriguez because there's Mel Blanc. And it was just every bad racist stereotype of like Mexicans. He wore like a sombrero. And like he looked like Pancho Villa a little bit.
Yeah.
And had like the droopy mustache and everything. And he was constantly like if he wasn't tricking white people into giving him their Fritos, he was just straight up pointing a gun at them and taking them at point blank range. This is not a villain. This is not this is not someone to fuck with.
No,
this is not sort of kind of wacky Barney with his schemes.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's gonna shoot you in the face.
The Che Guevara of snack thieves or something.
Yeah. I eventually, I think in the late 60s, early 70s, there's enough I guess hue and haw about the racist overtones from some Hispanic rights groups that Fritos actually had to finally take it off the shelf, so to speak. And there's a lot of ethnically inappropriate food mascots over the years. I know Phil Hendry, the radio host, did a segment where it was the Dodgers versus the inappropriately ethnic food mascots like Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben and the Frito Bandito.
Oh, that's funny.
And honestly, it's on the list mainly because I just love saying Frito Bandito.
It's so fun.
It's one of my all-time favorite combination of words.
Yeah. Okay,
I would
guys.
like to see him go after a Hot Wendy.
Frito Bandito.
I would like to see like the new version of the Frito Bandito, the 2017 like hipster Frito Bandito.
I would love if he was kind of like the Jesus from Lebowski or something like that. Okay, guys, you did a great job. Thank you so much for your spirited discussion of the Mount Rushmore of ad campaign villains. And I already listed my pick. That was the Grimace who did the face turn from heel to face and then lost 2 arms in the process. But I think it's so cool that you set me up for my hacky stand-up comedy by both picking Hamburglar. So we'll each get a point for that. And then I want to break this tie really badly, but it's not going to happen this time around because Michael, I just really love the pull of Charles Atlas and being one of the prototypical the bully on the sand on the beach being one of the typical bullies. And then the Frito Bandito is one of my favorites because I was born in the 60s and he was on TV when I was a kid. So I've longed many years to do a serious Christopher Nolan type reboot with psychological realism and really great visual effects of the cavity creeps. So and the Crest team.
Bane is basically a cavity creep.
Bane is essentially a cavity creep. So I think we can do that.
I was born in the cavity.
You merely adopted flossing. Okay, so thanks very much. This has been the Mount Rushmore podcast. I, as usual, am Jeff.
I'm Richard.
I'm Michael.
Adios, amigos.